Hello, I'm Brandon Bonhoeffer, and today we're going to introduce a new product, the OnePlus Pad. This device looks similar to other products we see on the market, like the iPad, but it is an Android-based tablet. Today, guys, I'm going to show you how that device can work for you for digital planning, for note-taking. If you're using it to watch videos, to browse the internet, we're going to show you how the pencil, the keyboard, and the device itself can work in your life as a productivity tool. We're going to show you some comparisons to that of the iPad. We're also going to dive into the apps that you can use for note-taking with this device. So guys, if you are considering this device as your next tablet, you're going to want to stay with me as we dive into it. All right, so if you're sticking with me, there's something about this device that intrigues you, and hopefully through this video, I'm able to teach you something or give you some clarity on one thing or another. And if I do that, do me a solid, hit the like button so others in the community can learn about the same information that you are hearing. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe to our channel. We cover a lot of tutorials on digital planning, note-taking, and the different hardware and devices that go along with it to help improve your experience. So first and foremost, when I first got this device, looking through the different boxing and packaging, it was very clean, it was well put together, it was well thought out. It gave me that first impression that, hey, this product has been thought out. It's definitely worthy of my time and consideration. It was packaged very neatly. As I started to open up the device and started to see the different components and things that were in it, I went ahead and I got the tablet itself, the keyboard cover, as well as the pencil. Now these devices, when you put them all together, clip together very nice, and you can use them in different forms or fashions. You can use them to type in, you can go ahead and flip the case around, and you can use it to sit flat on your desk. It also has a camera in the back, and the one thing I noticed about the camera in the back, unlike other devices, is the camera is stationed in the center. Now, one problem that I have with this is when I put it flat on the table without the keyboard, you can see there is a little bit of a rock. Now, one would say or suggest that, well, just leave it inside the case. Now, I can leave it in the case. However, now it is about a ½ inch to a full inch off the table, which just kind of gives me an elevated experience. Not something that I like or don't like, just something to think about as I'm using it for handwriting and note-taking. So that's kind of my first impressions of the device when it looks to the feel and the form factor. One thing I do really enjoy about the device is the bezel itself. Now, when I look at the bezel, I'm someone that is constantly holding the device with one of my hands. Maybe it's in an elevated position as such. And having this bezel right here, you can see my fingerprint is just enough on the edge, but not enough that it distracts from the screen or causes me to create some type of interruption in the use of the device. So I think the bezel is fine. You can also see that the camera is located just in front here, which that gives me the ability to easily look at the device if across a Zoom call or using it to take some type of photo or if I'm involved in some type of meeting pictures. Other than that, the device is very clean. You can see this here. We've seen this before where the pencil attaches to the top of it. We have a volume button, power button located here, and then we also have our speakers on both sides of the device, and it is USB-C powered. So that works with a lot of the different devices you have. So if you're using other Android devices that use that cable for charging, you're gonna have the benefit of only having to have one additional cable that comes with it. And it does have a charging block that comes along with the purchase of this pad. So in addition to getting the pad itself, I went ahead and also got the pencil. It's very lightweight. It has OnePlus written on the side of it. It feels, something about it doesn't feel as solid as other styluses I use, but it doesn't create any additional weight in my hand. And maybe that's what I don't necessarily feel gratification from, but yet this little flat area here, that is where you attach it to the pad itself. It gives me a nice place to put my finger and give me stability when I'm writing, so I do enjoy that. The tip is what I would expect from most styluses that we use. That plastic tip, it comes to a point enough that gives me a narrow enough writing experience. Overall with the pencil, Nothing that would say don't get it, but nothing that says this is incredibly new technology. It's what I would expect from a stylus itself. Now, looking at the keyboard first impressions, really like the feel of typing on here. I was able to use a little bit to type some notes, to reply to some emails, to browse the internet. Between typing and the mouse pad itself, I definitely enjoyed this. I felt it is well put together. I also think it's great that I can easily go ahead, grab the tablet, and move it in an elevated position and start to use it as such, where I'm able to navigate into my device. So overall, keyboard, I definitely think if you're looking for a tablet and you want to have more than just a tablet-like experience and you're going to do some daily computing with it, if it be checking emails, typing up Word documents, working in other applications that are more productivity related, definitely encourage you to look at the keyboard as an add-on. Now, in an upcoming video, I'm going to show you how this device and the latest iPad really compare, because in the reality, this is an Android version of an iPad. It has a lot of similarities to it between the keyboard, the pencil, the bezel, the screen, but it's an Android device versus with the iPad, it runs off the iPad OS. With an Android device, we have an entirely different set of applications that we can download from the Google Play Store. A lot of those applications are very familiar with the iPad, but it uses the Apple App Store to download. And in some applications like OneNote, we see an entirely different interface on an iPad versus that we do of an Android product. And when it comes to different applications on Google Play Store and Android, some of them have more flexibility, some don't have as much flexibility. But if you are someone that really enjoys the Android system and wants something that kind of compares to the quality and build of an iPad, this device, I think, is one that you should definitely consider because it has that strong form factor, capabilities, the screen, the interaction, the keyboard, it's all been well thought out. But if you're looking to use it for digital note planning on an Android, let's talk about that and what that means for you. So talking about digital planning and note taking, if you guys have followed our channel for a period of time now, you will learn that we are the creator and founder of the Key2Success Planning System, a planning system that's built for personal, professional, career development. If you own a business, if you manage a department, or you run an organization, our planning system is tailored to help you meet your productivity goals. And if you want to learn more about that, go ahead, hit the description of this video, and you can learn all about our planning system. Now, when it comes to note taking and journaling, you can really use any different type of planning system out there, but today we're going to show you how our planning systems works with these devices. We're going to talk about two primary platforms, PDF planning and planners, as well as OneNote and notebook-based planners. Really the biggest difference that I find with these is when I think of OneNote, I think of a planner or an application that works much like a filing cabinet where I have drawers and notebooks, tabs and files to help organize my information. When I think of PDF planners, I think of bound books, something I can page through, make notes, plan my day, and execute my life. There's no wrong way or right way to digital plan, but one of those pathways might be more effective for you. Also, one benefit of OneNote, it's a universal application, so it works across Windows, Apple, and Android devices. Even works on a number of e-paper devices like the Onyx books, which we've covered here on our channel before. When it comes to PDF planners, a lot of times those planners only synchronize across the same systems. So for example, if you're using Samsung Notes, it only synchronizes across Samsung products at this time. If you're using GoodNotes, it currently only synchronizes across the same Apple devices, and now there's a beta version available for Android devices. We don't know if that's going to be able to synchronize across Android or Apple devices at this time, and as we move through that beta, I'm sure we'll learn more. But with the Android, there's a few applications that I like to cover that I think are pretty worthy of your investigation to see which one makes sense for you. And we'll cover OneNote here in a minute. So as we power up the device and look into our planning system, we're going to talk about Note Shelf, GoodNotes, Penly, and some of the key functionality of each. Now, when I go into GoodNotes, if you use GoodNotes before, it has a lot of the same functions that you would expect in any note-taking application, but with the beta version, it doesn't have some of the quick navigation things that you're going to see in the other planning systems that we're going to show you here in a second. So if I go into this note page here, I can go ahead and I can choose to write. I can go ahead and choose to erase. And even go back, and I'm going to do an undo. And I'm going to choose the lasso tool. And I can lasso that, which allows me to move it. It also allows me to do a number of things. Now, one thing I cannot do in this application is disable the function and use the hyperlinks to navigate throughout the planner. I have to go page by page and use the page sorter. But going back to the familiar writing on here, when it comes to writing on this device, I found that the experience, I'm just going to write a note here, is pretty on. Now I can also go in here and I can adjust the thickness. And I can even change the color if I wanted to and go even larger. I feel for a tablet, this is the experience that I expect with writing. And if you're looking at GoodNotes, there is definitely an application that you're familiar with. It's coming a long way, and as it moves through beta, I hope it develops a stronger integration with hyperlinks. So let's dive in and take a look at Note Shelf. So Note Shelf, same similarities that we've seen in the other. We have pens, we have the ability to use a highlighter, we also have an erase tool, we have a lasso tool and a type tool, and then we have a space where we can disable our pencil. And that's critical because when we disable the pencil, this entire key page becomes interactive where we can click on the hyperlink. So if I want to get to January and I want to go to the 2nd, I can easily do that and it'll take me to that page. With hyperlinks, I can then also navigate to each individual page by clicking on hyperlinks here. I can go back to the key page, and one thing that's unique about this is I can go ahead and I can write a note. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to put OnePlus. So I'm going to write a note about the OnePlus Pad. I'm going to disable that, and then this page here is a hyperlink. I can click on that and that'll take me to my page where now I can make notes. So one thing I really like about using Note Shelf as well as OneNote is I can kind of take that landscape format and make it a portrait view by simply rotating to my device and going ahead and making my note here. So here I can write, and then again I can use that lasso tool. But let's talk and move that. I can also copy it, paste it, delete it, and I can also convert it to text. We can see how that looks. So there it says write a note, convert the text. So now we have text, and let's see how that looks. I can use the keyboard here and keep writing, or I can take the tablet, put it back in a landscape position. Now I can go ahead and choose the type tool, as you can see here. Now I also have the ability with the mouse that I can then select and I can move that type. I also can go in and make changes and make the font size larger. I can also change the colors. I can change the font to different fonts. I also have the ability to bold, italics, and underline that in this application. So I think Note Shelf is a really strong application on the Android platform and very comparable to the next application I'm going to show you, which is Penly. And it's one that's sought at by the digital planning community. So I can go ahead and open that, and you can see one of the first things that you can recognize with it is it does use the ability to use hyperlinks so you can navigate throughout most planners pretty easily. In our planning system, we give you this key page, which allows you to access all the tools like the professional builder, allows you to get into your expense tracker, into your habit tracker, and you can easily get into any of the planning months that we have available. Plus, if you wanted to dive into our quarter review, our vision board, all of those things are there. You can also go ahead and swipe across the planner and see the different pages or access the different pages that we have in it. But with Penly, we have a lot of the same tools again. We have the pen, we have the highlighter, we have an eraser, text. We have the ability to draw shapes and import pictures in different media. Where I think this is really cool is, say if there is an image of, say, a drawing or a PDF file, or you see something that you want to make some notations to, you can zap a picture with this device, import the picture, and then go ahead and make annotations or notes, and you can then send those off to individuals. So when I jump into a planning page, let's go ahead and jump into January. Let's look at January 2nd, and let's go ahead and utilize these tools. First one is drawing. You see then I have the ability to select a thickness and a color. And the same thing, I have that ability to quickly zoom in if I choose to, and I can go ahead and write down coffee with Nate. Now, that might be a little thick, so we're going to go a little thinner here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the erase button, and I'm going to choose to write Coffee with Nate. Now, I can go ahead and use that lasso tool, and I can select it, and I have some abilities to change some scaling. If I want to make it larger, I can easily do that. I also have the ability to change the color. Maybe I want to make that red. That looks like a neat color. And I also have the ability to copy and paste it. And I also have the ability to create a hyperlink. So maybe I want to hyperlink to another page, and I want to hyperlink to page 25. I can hit OK. Now, what does that do? Well, I can turn this page off, and I can tap on it, and it takes us to page 25. This is one of the very few planning applications that works with PDF planners to allow you to create hyperlinks. And where this is pretty cool is I can jump into, say, one of my project pages. So say I have this project right here, and we're going to call it the Dam project. Okay? And I'm going to put Dam project there. Now I know if I click on the page 1 here, it's going to take me to that project page. Well, if I look, this project page, when selected, is page 704. Now I can go ahead here, and I'm just going to write in here, for the sake of time, Dam project. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump to the day that it is here, which is the 24th. And one of the things that I know I need to do in my to-dos today is the Dam project. So one thing I find really unique about utilizing this hyperlink is I'm planning out my weeks, or I have different tasks. I can go ahead and use this tool to create a hyperlink to page 704. And where this is going to be so cool is, now say I'm on this page and I want to recall the information about the Dam project, I can simply tap on it and it'll take me to this project page. When I talked about Penly being something that's sought after by the community, that is one of the biggest reasons why, is now I'm able to use my planning system to start to connect the notes, the meetings, the projects I have. We'll go back to that January page, and where I had this meeting with Nate. Well, I also can go to the key page here and go to my meetings, and I'm just going to call this meeting with Nate. I'm quickly going to go ahead and tap on the page, open the page sorter to see the page that I'm selecting on is 634. So now I'm going to go back, go to my January date. I'm going to go ahead and use that hyperlink and put page 634. So now as I'm going through my calendar and I have that meeting with Nate, I can go ahead and click on the page with Nate and get into the meeting that I have with him and access all the notes that I want to take. So that is a quick look at Penly and how you can utilize it for digital planning. I think it's an app you should definitely consider if you're looking at doing digital planning or note taking, utilizing PDF planners on an Android platform. But now let's look at OneNote. So here you have a chance to see our planner. Just like I mentioned before, with OneNote, I think of it more as a binder-like system where you can go ahead and can navigate through different tabs like you would filing drawers or filing tabs inside a filing drawer, and then you can access the individual sections and see all the pages within those file folders. We can also use hyperlinks to navigate throughout the planning system as well. And if we jump into this particular section into January, you'll see we have individual hyperlinks that get us to the individual pages, or we can continue to use the navigation system that is present in OneNote by utilizing these sections to get to the various pages like the habit tracker, the budget page that we showed you with PDF planning. We have the ability to go into draw, and you can see we have all the different handwriting functions. So here we can have a pen, we can choose the thickness of that by moving this slider. We can also choose different colors. So we'll bring it down to here, and I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of consistency, let's go ahead and schedule coffee with Nate. Now I can go ahead and I can use the highlighter tool, and I can highlight that. Maybe I want to make that highlighter a little bigger. I can do that by doing this here. And I can always use the select tool and select and say we need to move that. One thing that's really powerful about the select tool is maybe, for example, Nate wanted to schedule coffee on a different day. I could cut that from my day. I could jump into Tuesday and now come in here and tap on a page, hit paste, and use the lasso tool to move that to Tuesday at 8 a.m. And that also works really good for any tasks. So like if you have any tasks you want to roll from one day to the next day, you can easily do that with OneNote. Now, if I disable this by hitting stop, my keyboard pops up. Well, I can go ahead and over here, I can write a message. So write a message. And then I can use the lasso tool to select that container. I can also, from there, move that text wherever I wanted to. So if I wanted to put text in here, here, I could, or I could go ahead and place it on the line, and then from there, hit the stop button, tap on it, and I can continue typing. Now, as we mentioned before, with the keyboard, I can go ahead, put this up like such, and I can continue to use the keyboard to write that message and kind of move through the note sections. So that's what's really neat about using OneNote, is now I can trust that these notes can synchronize across my other devices so I can easily access them. When I jump into my desktop version of OneNote, I can select this text and I convert it to text, and we have a video on that. I can also search all my handwritten notes by just typing in the search box the different words after the page is indexed. I can throw in other types of media. I can also create those hyperlinks that I showed you at Penly. I can use that to navigate my different pages and sections. And that's probably one thing that takes a little step further, is not only can I go ahead and create a hyperlink on a page, I can actually create a hyperlink on a section. So you can see down here, I could go ahead and under my projects tab, I could go ahead and add a section and create a new section. I could write damn project there, and now I could keep all of my notes and all of my different information, meetings, project notes, any events that I want to schedule, any PDFs I want to pull in and mark up. I could pull those all into here and trust that they would synchronize across all my different devices. So that there is a look at OneNote on the OnePlus Pad. Now, we looked at several different applications that utilize PDF, annotation apps, as well as OneNote, which is that, again, is that universal app that'll sync your notes across Windows, Apple, and Android devices. So in an upcoming video, we're going to show this tablet next to the iPad so you can see that Android operating system and the iPad operating system and comparable apps to see how they work back and forth. So if you're contemplating which platform and device to go with, you're gonna get some clarity on that. So make sure you follow our channel for that. And like I said earlier in the video, guys, if you learned just one thing, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, go ahead and hit the comments below. We'll gladly help you with those questions, as well as anybody in the community. Guys, if you want to learn more about our planning system, go ahead and jump on Key2SuccessPlanner.com. You can learn about all of our personal and professional development tools. We have 4 different additions to our planning system. They're going to help you get on the track of life to achieving those goals and aspirations that you have for yourself, help you improve the long-term planning of your business or organization that you're part of, and even help you coach those that are next to you on the front lines as we continue to move our journey in life forward. Guys, Lord willing, we're going to see each other again. And if you want to continue following us, again, hit the subscribe button. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.